We're good? Harrison, we're going to get started. Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining today's Workforce Development Council quarterly board meeting. Can everyone hear me okay, even online? Mic check. We're good. I got some thumbs ups over there. Great, thank you. My name is Ken Louie, Chair of the Workforce Development Council, and allow me to also recognize our Vice Chair, Karen Yashiro. That way, Karen. Okay, we'll be calling the roll call very shortly, but at the onset, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge several new faces on our board, as well as recent reappointments. Thanks, Evan. First, we have two new council members who were confirmed at the last legislative session and are joining us for the first time, and both are representing the labor sector. So first, Amber Akana, Safety Director and Union Representative from the Seafarers Union. Amber. Here. Great, thanks, Amber. I got. The other one is Pane Meatoga, the third, Deputy Political Director from the Operating Engineers, Local 3. Pane. Okay, in addition, during that last legislative session, Jared Higashi, Vice President of the Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association. Oh, sorry, Jared, right in front of me. Reappointed council member Scott Collins, Field Services Officer at HGEA. I think he's on Zoom. As well as myself, also passed Senate confirmation. Thank you to those who submitted letters of support. We have in attendance today recent governor appointees who will be going through their own Senate confirmations shortly. First is Gina Anunoevo, Vice Chair of First Hawaiian Bank, the first woman to hold that seat in the bank's 168-year history. Wow, that's amazing. Gina, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Sean Nakamura, Chief Financial Officer of Tradewinds Capital, which is the parent company of Paxa, Atlas Insurance, and Island Insurance. Sean, yep, there he is. And we note the governor's recent reappointments of the following council members who too will be going through Senate confirmation shortly. They include Keith DeMello, Terry Miyashiro, Rona Fukumoto, and Trong Malone. And we also welcome several new designees for counties. From the Hawaii County, the new designee is Benson Medina, the Director of Research and Development. Benson is currently traveling. From Maui County, we have the new designee, Jade Rojas Letisi, sitting right next to me, who is the Mayor's Executive Assistant on Economic Development. Thanks for making the journey from Maui. Okay. Others, let's see, from the County of Kauai, the replacement for Jackie Kaina is Kehaulani Kukahiko from the Kauai Economic Development Board. I think she's on Zoom.
Yes. Aloha.
Thank you. From our core partner, the Department of Education, Superintendent Keith Hayashi has designated Wanel Kaneshiro, Director of Workforce Development, as his representative. Is Wanel here today? Oh, there. Hey, Wanel. Sorry, I didn't recognize you when you first came in. From the Workforce Development Board, we would like to officially welcome Chair for the Oahu Board, Chris Lemley. We welcome back Representative Andrew Garrett, House Chair of the Higher Education Committee, who will continue to represent the House Chamber on this board. Thank you, Representative Garrett. Also joining us at today's meeting is our WDC Hele Imua intern, Angela Cha, who will be doing some roll call with us shortly, who is working with us during the summer. Angela is a junior at BYU Provo with a major in sociology and a minor in statistics. Welcome, Angela. Perfectly trained. Good feeling. Okay, so we have a very full agenda. So I'd like to call our meeting to order at, I've got what, 9:35? Okay. This is a public meeting under the open meeting law. Some of the board members and public guests are viewing in Zoom, and we have council members and staff at the LIR offices at 830 Punchbowl Street, room 310, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. In case members of the public wish to watch this meeting at an on-site location. And to start the meeting and to document in the minutes, I will do a roll call of the council members. Under the Sunshine Law, members attending via Zoom must keep the cameras turned on during the entire public meeting And let me underscore this for us. If you do leave the meeting prior to the meeting adjournment, please inform us so we can assess quorum. Thank you for your kind understanding of these protocols. Also, members, if anybody is in the room with you, please state the name of that person also. So I'll turn it over to Angela, who will be taking a roll call.
Representing the governor's office for Governor Josh Green, Dan Cochise excused. And then we have Representative Andrew Garrett is on Zoom.
Representative Garrett, is he available? Okay, maybe hopefully be joining us later.
And then we have representing Mayor Rick, I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Langiardi?
Yeah. Andrew T. Kawano is excused and representing Derek, Mayor Derek Kawakami, we have Melanie Brune on Zoom.
Here.
You know. Representing Mayor Kino Alameda, Benson Medina is also excused, and representing Mayor Richard Bison, okay, is Jade Rojas Latisi here. And then Leah Diaz excused, Keith Hayashi. Representing Keith Hayashi will be Lunel Kaneshiro here. Representing Wendy Hansel is Della Terioka. And also Kayla Monaco. Representing James Takioka, Thomas Chalk.
Present.
Representing David Rodriguez.
Here.
Rosella Vargas.
Present, thank you.
Chris Lumley. Kehalani. Linville.
Here.
Leslie Wilkins on Zoom.
Present.
Amber O'Connor here. Scott Collins. Dizon is excused. Hane Manitoga.
Here.
Julie Scanlon.
Present, sorry, ill.
Lorna Wu is excused. Gina Ano Nuevo here. Monu Bermudez is excused, and Cheryl Cross is excused. Keith DeMello.
Present.
Rona Fukumoto here. Jared Higashi
Here.
Shelly Ihori here. Derek Kanahira. Sean Knox.
Here.
Robert Lietsky. Kimberly.
That's me.
Frank Malone.
On Zoom? No?
Terry Miyashiro.
Here.
Sean Nakamura.
Here.
And Carlo Kurokawa.
Here.
Okay, I think we have a number of people, so we confirm we have quorum?
Chair, we have 24 council members. We do have quorum.
Okay, are there any other guests on Zoom or here in the room that would like to identify themselves? Or have,
Hi, this is Adele Monera from Kauai Workforce Development.
thank you, Adele.
Welcome.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. Mayor Carpilliton Freitas, Workforce Development Division.
Good morning, Maricar. Good to hear from you.
Chair, we also have Andrew Garrett online now.
Okay, Representative Garrett is acknowledged online. Any other board members or guests that we did not acknowledge previously?
So which thing?
Yeah, I thought I saw.
Aloha Chair Chantel Rowland, Maui County Workforce Development Board, and Kamalu Carroll, manager of our One Stop here on Maui.
Thank you, Chantel. And
Hello, Chair Ken and everyone. This is Clinton Mercado, Hawaii County Workforce Development Executive Director. Nice to see you all.
Morning, Clinton.
Mahalo.
Good morning, Chair. This is Carrie Price, Program Specialist in the Director's Office, DLIR.
Morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Chair. This is Kevin Aki Jr. with the County of Hawaii Research and Development and the Hawaii County Workforce Development Board.
Good. Thank you, Kevin.
Aloha, Winston Sakurai. Gladly giving the designee to Wanel Kaneshiro, but I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be on the board for the last 2 years. Thank you, Chair, for your leadership. Bonnet has been wonderful as well, and keep up the good work. And everyone's been very welcoming and supportive. And so just wanted to say mahalo to all of you, especially Tui, because he was the first one that kind of greeted me at the first meeting. So, but you guys continue the good work that you're doing.
Thank you, Winston. Good to have you here, and thank you for staying with us for the handoff to Wanel. Any others? Okay. In the interest of time, rather than go through a lengthy intro process, I think that was too lengthy. We also ask that our guests to type their name and their offices in the chat so we can reflect it in our minutes. Please let the minutes reflect that our Deputy Attorney General, Kelly Ha, and Deputy AG, Chair of the Labor Section, is also attending this meeting. Do we have anyone in the AG's office here in person, or are they on Zoom? Might have some questions for them later. Okay, a couple other items here. Per Workforce Development Bylaws, Article 5, Section 7, under Hawaii Revised Statutes 892-15 and HRS 202-1, and until such time the council has 41 members, 16 council members shall constitute quorum to do business, and the concurrence of at least 16 council members shall be necessary to make any of the action of the council valid. Since we have now, what is the revised count? Angela?
26 now, Chair,
26.
with the addition of Representative Garrett online.
Thank you, Bennett. Members today, I confirm we have quorum. Okay, the first item in our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting of February 19th, 2025. The minutes are found on pages 22 to 34 in your packet. So I'll give you a minute just to flip through that really quickly, and then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Aloha, Chair Sean Knox, like to move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Sean. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Karen Mashiro. Are there any comments or discussion on the minutes? Okay, hearing none so far. Checking the Zoom. Are you guys checking the Zoom too? Okay. I'd like to call for a vote. We're going to do this expeditiously, presuming that that's okay with the AG's office. Are there any comments to the meeting minutes? No? Okay. Are there any no's or objections? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand for those online.
Aye.
Okay. Let the record reflect it was unanimous approval of the minutes. Okay. Next item is a presentation by BIA. We are pleased to hear from the CEO of the Building Industry Association of Hawaii. I'm also from the construction industry. And she will share about their pre-apprenticeship construction training PACT program and the current outcomes to date. Roseanne's presentation is not in your packet, but is on the version posted on the WC website if you'd like to access later. So, Roseanne, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So just who do I look to when we need to forward the slide?
Oh, here.
Okay, I'm Roseanne Freitas with the Building Industry Association of Hawaii, and joining me today is our education manager, Marie Whitworth, who puts on these programs. So it really is an effort. So we are the Building Industry Association of Hawaii, and I know many of you know who we are. So there's no need to really dive into that. But if we go to the next slide, please. So we're going to talk about our pre-apprenticeship construction training program. And the picture you see is not, that is actually one of our students. So I have required that all of our advertising have our student pictures in. So we are taking those. So we go on to the next slide. So just to give you an overview, this is what the 6-week curriculum provides. This is provided by HBI certification, which is the same curriculum that is used for Job Corps. So it gives you an idea of what we do. We talk about construction safety. That is, of course, week 1. They are not allowed to go do any hands-on until we get through that safety portion. Then we do have the different trades. You'll see we talk about carpentry, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, masonry. So we're trying to introduce them to the different options that they have should they go into the trades. They do receive an OSHA 30 certification, which is a little bit more than your OSHA 10. So we're really heavy on safety. So we invest a little bit more in that. They do have their CPR, AED, all of that they need. So this curriculum is what we have been doing, and Marie has been putting on. We are so fortunate to have people in our industry who want to give back. So they take time off their day jobs to come teach the students. Okay, if we move to the next slide. So here's where we currently get our funding from, and here's one of our cohorts. Of course, American Job Center, the YOO program. We've been working with the city and county of Honolulu since last September with great success. We did have a Harry and Jeanette Weinberg grant that we were able to fulfill, and we did have one student who actually paid. Since I did this slide, we have gotten funding from the Hawaii Building Industry Foundation. So we're pretty excited there, and we just found out we got the Castle Hawaii Youth Apprenticeship Network grant that they are starting this year. You go to the next slide. So here's a little bit about our program from last September to today. Our average enrollment is about 10 students per cohort, and you'll see there, our last cohort that we just graduated in April was a very small cohort, but all the others were larger. As far as the completion, we're pretty excited with an 83 grade. When I looked it up, the University of Hawaii has a 60% graduation rate. Most PAC programs have a 70%. Harvard and Yale have a 98%. So there's our goal, right? So now if we look at what we're doing, our goal here isn't just to get them through a program. If they don't land somewhere, we've not fulfilled our job. So part of what we're doing is working on internships. So in this last cohort, 2 of them got jobs right away. They were offered jobs the day of their graduation. So what we're doing at graduation is bringing in the industry to come and meet them and do interviews on site. So 2 of them started, and they're doing very well. They're adjusting to waking up be at work at 3 a.m. But they're doing pretty well. The reason the other 2 haven't gotten jobs is we do work with the city and county, and if they have not fulfilled their GED yet, they have to go back and do that before we'll get them placed. So we're excited about, go one more. Yeah, we're excited about what's coming up. So we're targeting for July 1st, but after talking today, we're still working with the city and county on a few of them. So we're probably going to push that date back a week or 2 just to make sure we can get everybody in the program. We're so excited that we're able to do this in September in Maui. So we are working with Maui County on their YO program. And then we also did get an additional funding from our foundation to help support that. And now we're also working with HUD to try to pull one of these in Honolulu. Our offices are Waipahu, but we recognize that's not always easy for everybody. So they have, we've been working with partners to set this up so that we can really target the like Mayor Right Housing and other students who could really benefit from this. So we've had the success with the program, as you see. We're not gonna lie, we've had some challenges. Just trying to get students in, trying to get them to understand that you show up at 8 o'clock, not 10 o'clock, right? One of the biggest things we didn't even recognize until it hit us was food. Because they don't bring food, they're there 8 hours a day. Well, we can't afford to buy a hot meal every single day. So we talked to some of our members who donated some appliances. And now part of their curriculum is learning how to cook. So they are in charge of making their own lunches and feeding each other. So we don't just do the technical, we do some of those life skills. We also do the resume writing, the interview process, and just a little bit on the project we're going to work on with the Castle Grant. It's a strategy where we're bringing different partners to the table. We're talking with Windward Community College, the Windward CTE program, Habitat for Humanity, Leeward, Aloha United Way, Hawaii Workforce Pipeline, Union 50, and try to figure out how we can strategize a program where ours is the pre, right? We're just getting them through the first 6 weeks, but how, if we don't have something there, how do we continue this? Because we've caught them by the 6 weeks. You can tell they're a little disappointed it's over. So if we work with the different partners, we can streamline them to a direct job with some of our members, into a union apprenticeship program, or into a further college if that's an option. Of course, military is also another option that everybody has. So we're trying to gather the partners together. So that's a little bit about what we do. And if you wonder how we differ from all of the other associations, we represent people who build homes. So anything BIA is about the residential market. We sit under the National Association of Home Builders. So we are able to rely on them as well. So our people build homes. Marie, did I miss anything? Did we cover everything?
Everything's covered.
Yeah, so you see there are some of the pictures of the packed horses. Just a few little stories. We had one lady in our second cohort. We didn't realize she was homeless until we had to ask her that she needed to have long pants and closed-toed shoes for the hands-on portion, and she didn't have it. So we all chipped in our money. We got her the supplies, and then we connected her with other organizations that were able to help get her housing. But while she lived under the viaduct, she showed up every day for class. Now, sometimes the bus schedule might have made her a little late, but she showed up every single day. So it's those people who we really want to help, who just need a little extra help. So our cohorts have been mainly males, but we are getting more females in the industry. We all know there's a huge trade shortage. There's just a shortage of workers all the way around. But women make up about 10.7% of the construction industry, so we know that is a growing. So, oh, I do want to show right here, this one here. So Marie doesn't let them just graduate. They have projects. And this is, they all had their Keystone project and they had to build this. They had 4 days. They had 4 days to design it, to find the scrap material in our warehouse, build it. The one on the left, that armoire, was so impressive. He did that in 4 days by himself. And then, of course, the one table on the right, we all loved that too. So this was some of the quality of the students. You know, they just needed someone to give them a chance. And we felt that that worked well. So those two students both have jobs. In case you know. So any questions? This is how you can get hold of us too.
Congratulations on the completion rate. That's great. Do you guys track starting salaries once they go into the workforce?
We haven't, but I think that's what we need to start because that's going to make a huge difference.
And then you mentioned there's one individual that paid for his own. What is the per head cost of the program?
4,300.
Well, that's 6
6 weeks. And that covers all the certification costs and everything else involved in that. Yeah, and any of the food, because even though they make the food, we buy the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just we can't afford just somebody else to cook it all the time. 16 up. We don't cap it at 16 to 24 unless a specific grant does. We had a 60-year-old who was couldn't retire, looking to go into a new career. So it's been interesting to have the difference in the ages in the same cohort, because I will tell you the more experienced individuals really help keep the younger ones accountable. Like for showing up on time, they help with that. So, and then they can also mentor each other. So that's been great.
Okay, any questions?
Hi, Clinton here from Hawaii County.
Yeah.
Roseanne, if I may, sorry if I missed it, but who did you say fund the pre-apprenticeship program?
We've been working with the city and county on the WIOA grant, the workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act grant.
Got
So
it.
County of Honolulu has it, all of, actually, the state has it and all of the counties have it. We started with, Oahu, just figuring out how to make this work. We applied for a Maui grant and were directed to the Maui offices, so we were able to get that going. Big Island is on our list to get to as well.
That is awesome. We welcome you folks, Major. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Question from Carrie, then we'll go to Leslie Wilkins.
Okay. How long is the program? Is it like 6 months, a year, or?
It's a 6-week program.
Oh, it's a 6-week
6
program?
weeks. It's really, that's why it's a and where it kind of helps is like for a long-term apprenticeship, it kind of weeds those out who aren't gonna go into it, right? So we feel like that's a really good collaboration with the apprenticeship programs. We can weed people out, but we're also giving them the basics. We're redoing every math skill. If anybody wants to learn fractions again, come talk to Marie, because we got it down. So we have to go back over all of that.
Leslie Wilkins, you had a question.
I do. Aloha, Roseanne. Thank you for your incredible work. Congratulations on getting the council grant. And a heartfelt mahalo on reaching out and tracking your metrics on bringing women into the trades. It's so important. I wanted to ask you, I was listening to your funding, which sounds like it's a lot of private, county, other funding, not federal. Does this allow you to then continue diversity equity programs for outreach to women as underrepresented populations in the trades?
Yes, so we were going to be applying for the Want To grant, women in non-traditional occupations, which obviously is not coming out right now.
Right.
So we're just kind of staying away from the federal grants because we recognize we serve an underserved market.
That's fabulous. And back in the day when WANTO grants were available through the U.S. Department of Labor Women's Bureau, they have not even populated, I think, that division of the Department of Labor. Our organization had several women in non-traditional occupations. So I've got a whole bunch of things I'll share with you. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Question from Jared?
Yeah, how do you market to them?
Well, this is what we hired a marketing manager. So the last year was a year of rebuild for BIA. So finally got the money to hire. And we'll have to say the videos he started producing, actually we started getting people reaching out from, which kind of surprised me. I didn't necessarily, I mean, I know it works, but I wasn't sure it would be that direct. So we are finding that way, but the other outreaches, we're going to the schools. And we're talking with the different partners. So we have really reached out to other nonprofit organizations that serve kind of the same demographic, right? They're trying to help people get out of where they're at, whether it's a homeless population or we're working with AUW with the Alice.
Recording in progress.
So we recognize there's some advertising going on, but at the same time, it's really a lot of the partnerships.
A question, Roseanne. You mentioned attendance of being a problem. It seems to be more so lately, and it's always probably been a problem, but any other, what you see as fundamental skills or habits that maybe you'd like to see more of, that maybe for us as parents, we raise our kids to be more, get out of bed early and be on time? Any other?
Well, get out of bed early, be on time, well, I'm gonna let Marie answer this one because she is actually in the classroom every single day with them. So Marie, what else did you find with the students?
I also find that no matter how much their parents ask them to wake up in the morning rather than ask, it just starts at home, trying to show them what they can reap out of waking up in the morning, why it's valuable for them to wake up in the morning and put food on the table. Because right now, there are families who have served them the whole time, so everything's fed to them, so they don't take accountability for anything, right? So that becomes a challenge.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned the homeless lady. One of the things we took our daughter to when she was about 7 or 8 was the homeless. And I was shocked how many people were homeless over there by Kaka'ako. I mean, it went around the whole street. You can't see it from Ala Moana, and we took some leftover shoes and where we could donate, but it was really an eye-opening. And I think it's important to, we're fortunate we have the means now to take care of our kids, hopefully better than the previous generation, but it's worth reminding them how sometimes good they have it. what they need to do to be, successful and happy in life. So,
And for
thank you.
majority of the ones we see, they don't have that role model. So they don't know what they don't know, right? If you've never been taught, how do you know? So that's part of what we're trying to do is instill that in them in the 6 weeks. You have accountability, and if you work hard, good things can happen. And I'll share a quick story on that is our first cohort in September was through the Workforce Youth Program. And they had their shirts on, and Marie's husband came up and he goes, "Hey, you guys got that program?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, they're our first cohort." He goes, "I went through that program." She's like, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, I was down the wrong path." And so he went in and talked to them, and I will tell you, the next day they showed up on time. Only because they could see themselves in him. And now he is the safety officer for dredging. I mean, they're like, whoa, you came from the same neighborhood and you're successful. So sometimes I think for us, for the students that don't have the role models, is finding people who they can connect with and they can see themselves.
And if you need speakers, I'll be happy to, volunteer for
That would be
my experience.
wonderful. Marie's gonna come get all your cards. Sure.
Okay, all right. Oh, go ahead, Pi.
Just a quick question. Which unions are you partnering with?
Right now, we've been partnering with the Carpenters Union and Union 50, but we're open to all of the unions. So we've had them come in and talk to the students. Yeah.
Okay.
So Rosanna, this program, when they finish, can they transition to an apprenticeship program without a high school diploma?
No. They still would have to go back and get their GED, at least their equivalent. So
I see.
that's why we're still working with the counties so that, hey, you finish the program, because we'll let them come into the program without that, but you're gonna go back and finish that GED. And we do have a staff, and I will tell you, they stay on top of them. And just to let you know, the Workforce Youth Program works because they had a young lady that they were waiting for her course to start, and they asked if she could come work for us for a while. We hired her on full-time in January, and we're not giving her back to the city and county. But to let you know, there's some really good people through the program, and we were fortunate to have that benefit. But I think it's one of Kayanna's passions is also to stay on top of them as well as Marie. So we don't, once they're graduated, they're still in our database and we still stay in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Roseanne. For our council members, hope to give you at least glimpses of what the type of programs like BIA's pre-apprenticeship programs that are funded by WIOA, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. Many times we were discussing policy issues here, so we'd like to ensure that our decisions are based on a strong knowledge base. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is the certification of the American Job Center for the island of Hawaii. And I'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Vanette Nizalucha, who will discuss this item in the agenda, and which are found on pages 37 to 42. And then we'll also require a board vote on this.
Thank you, Chair. So council members, good morning. And just a friendly reminder when you're speaking, because of the fact that it is a big room, a little hollow, the sound is a little hollow. So please speak loudly and clearly, just a general reminder. So council members, you probably are aware, under WIOA rules, the certification of the AJC, the American Job Centers, that role really falls under the local board. But in the case of Kauai, because there's no local board, that purview falls under the state board. So we were tasked to do that. And in April of 2025, the staff and I went to Kauai to do the certification of the American Job Centers. It is also in compliance because we have to do this every few years, every 3 years. So in your packet are the findings and recommendations that we have espoused. So please note that the council needs to review this and to review and validate the findings and to vote on and ratify the certification. So first, let me talk about the methodology. So the staff and I went to Kauai, talked to the members of the staff, talked to the manager. There's a certification process that's actually on the state bulletin list. And we used that and we asked the branch manager to self-evaluate. So we also had the opportunity to interview some of the clients. So on page 37 on your packet, there's a description of the findings. I'm not going to go over each one of them because I think it merits you to read it yourself. But there's some key observations and opportunities for improvement. So bottom line, we recommend that the Kauai AJC be provisionally certified with some conditions. There's a corrective action plan that we hope the AJC can submit to the board by September 30th. And on page 30, there's provisions that need to be met, including setting aside resources for more outreach, for instance. So just wanted to assure the council that this is a very important issue for us, and we'll be working in tandem with Workforce Development Division so to make sure that the recommendations are carried out. So we hope that since September is the deadline, our next quarterly board meeting is in November. We hope that by November we'll be able to come back with a report where all those conditions are met. So Chair, I'm turning it back to you for the board vote.
Right, thank you. Any questions, concerns before we take our vote?
Just so you have it on the, what? Oh, Scott Collins is on Zoom and Derek Cunningham joined on Zoom as well.
Okay, there's some new members.
So that means 27 board members, Chair, are present.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to ratify this recommendation to conditionally certify the Kauai AGC with the recommended changes to be in play by September 30th. I have a motion.
So moved.
Barry, thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tui. Okay, we'll do a roll call for this vote. It's an important subject. So I'll turn it over to Angela for those members who have confirmed their attendance. Go ahead.
Andrew Garrett,
Aye.
Nolani Broom,
Aye.
Jade Rojas Latinsi. Aye. Wanel Kanashiro. Aye. Della Terra Oka. Aye. Thomas Chalk,
Aye.
David Rodriguez,
Aye.
Rosella Garshon,
Aye.
Chris Lumley. Aye. Tehaulani Kukunuko,
Aye.
Leslie Wilkins,
Aye.
Amber O'Connor. Aye. Scott Collins,
Aye.
Tanya Manitoga,
Aye.
Tui Scanlon,
Aye.
Keith DeMello,
Aye.
Gino Wu. I don't know, I'm sorry. Aye. Rona Fukumoto. Aye. Derek Higashi.
Aye.
Shelley Iwari. Aye. Derek Kanehira.
Aye.
Sean Knox.
Aye.
Ken Louis.
Aye.
Trey Malone. Oh, Jesus. Harry Miyashiro.
Aye.
Sean Nakamura.
Aye.
Carlos Morikawa.
Aye.
Okay, we have unanimous. Motion carries. The board is ratified. Thank you. We'll now hear from the Special Projects Committee Chair, Pete DeMello, on the recent legislative session, and the report is found on pages 44 and 45 of your packet. Go ahead, Pete.
Great, thank you, Chair. I'll do my best to be brief and stick to the agenda items. But aloha, everyone. I'm here to talk about the 2025 legislative session activities. And I'll give an overview of how we engaged during this past session, including testimony submitted and bills supported. You'll remember that Tui Scanlon and I were given authority in fourth quarter 2024 to represent the WDC's legislative policy positions during this session. We did provide supportive testimony on a total of 7 measures as listed on the agenda. All of them did pass. 6 were gubernatorial nominations to our council, as the chair mentioned at the start of the meeting. So congratulations on those confirmations. And but one bill in particular, Senate Bill 742, is something that we decided to support because it did align with our 4 pillars. The bill establishes data sharing and a governance working group within the State Office of Enterprise Technology Services and requires annual reports to the legislature. The bill was signed into law June 30th June 30 by the governor. And basically the bill aims to tackle Hawaii's affordability crisis and population decline by improving how state agencies share data, including workforce data. For example, the belief is that a robust governance structure for data sharing can better track how we decide or make decisions around education and workforce programs, even identifying emerging trends and opportunities in the labor market. Let's see, looking at my notes, the act did, for example, recognize that Hawaii loses an average of 8,000 plus residents per year, at least between 2020 and 2022 to out migration, and that 57% of college graduates are underemployed 5 years after graduation. So Tui and I supported Senate Bill 742, again, basically because integrated data systems are critical to addressing Hawaii's workforce challenges. And this was something that was talked about at the December 2024 the WDC Workforce Synergy Summit. And in our testimony, we shared this rationale. The new working group, it should be noted, because it includes a working committee, or specifically, let's see, a working group. It does name the chair of the WDC or his designee to this working group. So we should watch for communication from the governor's office on that in the coming weeks or months. And that's about it. What we learned though this session, we did take a measured approach to this, since we took a couple years to formulate a process and framework through which the WDC can become more active at the legislature. We wanted to proceed the right way and under sunshine guidelines. And so we had an opportunity to exercise that muscle a bit. And I think it worked. It showed the value of having a 2-member permitted interaction between 2 members of the Workforce Development Council to take the lead on this, so that we could quickly respond during the fast pace of the legislative session. But based on this year's experience and in some ways test of that framework, we do have some preliminary recommendations for refining our workflow moving forward. Basically 4 things. First, to be identifying potential policy requests during the pre-session months, and the Special Projects Committee, at our next meeting, we are looking to put that on the agenda, not for any decisions, but then to take some proposals, topics that we might consider. That initial consideration, or that initial discussion, will develop through the Special Projects Committee, again, which is open to all members here and the public. Formal approval by the full WDC would follow in subsequent meetings in the fall. And then that way we could enter the legislative session with a more comprehensive, proactive policy strategy. And let's see, and that sums it up, unless Tui or any members of the committee have comments or questions.
I just wanted to give Keith DeMello his flowers, because I mean, shout out to all the work and the legwork that you put into it. I really appreciate working with you, and thank you for all the ways in which you empowered collaboration on this. Thank you.
And thank you both on behalf of Council Keith and Tui. I mean, I imagine it was a tremendous time investment on your parts to keep up with the many issues. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you back to Tui, and then also the WDC staff and Bennett as well. She also had her part as we were drafting testimony. As many on this call know, is usually like you might have a couple days notice. So thank you all.
Great. Okay, well, we're now going to the financial reports, and here a presentation on the financial standing of the WDC. The financial reports can be found starting on page 46 of your board packet. And turn it over to Bennett Lucia again. Highlight.
Thank you, Chair. So starting this board meeting, you'll see a face that is kind of new, but I think she's going to be soon familiar with us. She is actually the person who oversees the WIOA funds at the Administrative Services Office, and that's Julie Ranke. So she's relatively new to the Department of Labor, but she's had a long stint in accounting, particularly with MetaGold. So she's going to be talking about the grants itself. So, and very quick learner, I just want to say, and just embracing the complexities of the WIOA funds and grant management. So Julie, over to you.
I'm gonna go over the PY22 first. So when the grant closed, the remaining unexpended fund was about 3.9 million. So those funds are now considered as the PY22 recapture fund, and it has been allocated between the WIOA adult program, youth, DW, rapid response, and the state levels. As of April 2025, all the expenditures are now at 1.4 million. We still have about 2.5 million. Those are all already in conferences, and we're just currently waiting on the invoices from all the different programs, all the different contracts that has been executed, so that way we can all liquidate the funds. As of now, I receive a lot of invoices from the Ready to Work program from all the different high schools on the islands, has been submitting all their invoices in, you know, so that way we can start reimbursing for all the works that they have done. But for PY22, all the funds will be liquidated. And then we'll go to the next one, which is the PY23. So for the PY23, currently we're spending about 50 to 60% of the within the budget. So right now we're planning on the PY24, but we're still using programs here to increase funds. So right now, currently, for the program year, the percent of expected up until April 30th, we're pretty much in between the 40% to the 60% for each different program.
Is that it, Julie?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. So on your in your packet, if you can please turn to page 51 and 52 for this portion of the agenda. So you heard from Julie about the financial reports and how much each of the counties have spent so far as of April 30, 2025. Again, if you recall, just again, for the benefit of those who may not be as familiar, the monies that we receive from the federal government, the state has 3 years to spend that money. So first, 85% of those funds go directly to the local boards, and the local boards have 2 years to spend that money. So whatever is not spent then comes back to the state, and the state has 1 year to spend those monies, and whatever is not used by the state needs to be returned to the feds. So it is very important for us to, for planning purposes, to be able to have a forecast as to how much those unexpended funds, that's the term that we use, which is funds that are not used by the locals and has been turned over to the state. So in that prior report that Julie has, she pointed to the current expenses of each of the local areas. So if you were, had looked at that, you will see those same numbers. And let me go over the spreadsheet for you. So on page 51, on Hawaii Island, so the program year 2023 allocation was for 1.78 million, of which 885,000 was spent as of April 30th. So this, is there any question? Okay, so this represents about 50% from the original allocation. So there's a remainder of about almost 900,000 with 2 months to go before the end of the program year, which is June 30th, 2025. So we asked the executive directors, who must know, right, what anticipated expenses would be for the next 2 months, where they think they will end the year with. So for Hawaii Island, the forecast was that they will end the year at 688,000. So now we turn to Honolulu. The allocation for PY 2023 was about 5 million, of which they spent 2.8 million, so representing a 55% spend rate. So they have a remainder of about 2.6 million with 2 months to go. So their forecast, though, is that they will end the year with 1.26 million in unexpended funds. So for the island of Kauai, the PY 2023 allocation was a little over 600,000, and it spent 173,000 out of those funds, which represent 29% of allocated funds. So they have a remainder of about 430,000 as of April 30. So to do the projections, what we simply did was to use the monthly run rate and then applied it to the balance, and we came out with a forecast of about 325,000 remaining by June 30th. So last but not least, Maui. PY 2023 allocation was for 1.1 million, of which they spent 720,000 or 64%. So leaving them with a balance of 410,000. So according to their executive director, they anticipate to end the year with 255,000. So the grand total, bottom line, folks, after the preliminary forecasting by the executive directors, we anticipate 2.5 million in PY 2023 unexpended funds, barring, again, other unanticipated phenomenon. So this is a marked improvement from last year. So last year, the unexpended funds was about 3.9 million. So I think the situation was helped by several factors. In the prior years, there was a lot of availability of federal funds, primarily from the Good Jobs, which is actually being phased out. So I think also to a certain extent, I want to give kudos to the EDs who were new last year, but I think they're getting their sea legs this year. So to a certain extent, I think the local areas have benefited from the training, the technical assistance that we've been providing. So we do have coordination meetings on a monthly basis, and we go over the financial as well as performance indicators. So I think this level of focus bodes well and drives improvement over time. Any questions? So hearing none, I'm going to proceed to page 53, which is the analysis of the 2025 WIOA allocation formula for the local areas. So the intent of this report is to compare the allocations for the last 4 years, because what we're interested in establishing here is what is the pattern of allocation for WIOA funds for Hawaii, and how do we compare with the rest of the country? Because particularly in this, talk about anticipated reduced flow of federal funds. So this is what we found out, and please refer to your handout for this findings, which would validate it. So throughout the country, as we know, there has been a reduction, albeit small, of each of the categories of the WIOA funds. So for instance, in 2025, the WIOA allotment for youth has been cut by 7 million from the 2024 numbers. The adult allotment has been cut by 53,000, and dislocated worker allotment has been cut by 194,000. So if you take a look, Hawaii has had an average of about 10% reduction from 2024 for all three categories. So, but take a look at that grade that I have in that packet, because it reflects that even though some states have a reduction, there's actually some states which experience an increase, a marked increase in their allocation, particularly California and New Jersey, which you'll see New Jersey appearing in all three categories. And then also to say that Hawaii was not just being singled out, okay? So there's other states that had experienced the same kind of reduction. And so the last spreadsheet shows the summary. So in 2022, Hawaii was given an allotment of 10.3 million. 4 years later, in 2025, our allotment is now at 8.3 million. So it's a difference of $2 million, folks. So about a 10% decrease from 2022 to 2025. So the next few pages, 54, 55, 56, those are the raw data. So if you want to just, do a deeper dive into, how much each of the other states have been allocated, we're providing you with that materials. And then on page 57 to 60, those are the allocation amounts for PY 2025 for each of the local areas in Hawaii. So you'll see how much of youth funds are allocated for each of the local areas, each of the islands. So do we have any questions at this juncture?
Sean Knox?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Hi, the reason for the reduction for Hawaii, is it largely because we haven't been spending the funds that we've been given in past years, so it just naturally decreases, or other factors?
I would not be surprised if that's one of the factors that probably were considered, but we really don't know. But I do want to share that this is a formula. So there are things that are taken into account, for instance, population base, also economic development opportunities. So they feed it into some kind of a formula, and then it comes out, and that's how we get the allocation for Hawaii. But again, it can certainly be argued that perhaps they see the pattern of Hawaii not being able to spend, but I cannot say for certain. I think it would be premature to speculate on what the reasons are. But I think to the extent, to your point about, we need to, and I think that executive directors are mindful of this, to the extent that they can spend at the local level, which is what the Congress intended it to be. That really is the goal, to have our the federal funds be allocated for the local areas for the purpose for which it's intended.
Thank you.
Did I respond to your question?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Bennett. This is Maricar. I just wanted to, for the record, the formula is based from the law itself. So the Congress gives out the money based, I guess, on the set aside from the budget that they create. And then it's formula based on the what the loss is to use in allocating these funds. So the federal government states what criteria will be used in divvying up the millions that's for the WIOA program. And that's how the 50 states, including the territories and Guam, gets their allotment for the WIOA programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Maricar. Any other questions? If not, I will then now proceed with the next item on the agenda, which is the report on the status of the WDC's general appropriation funds. So if you recall, back in 2024, the legislature gave us back our program ID. Not only did it give us back the federal funding, but it also allocated some general appropriation funds, and that was for 455,000 plus. So on that grid that is on page 61, it shows that we spent about 38,000, and that left us, after 4 savings of about 20%, with 378,000. So in your packet on page 63 to 69 is a proposal that spells out the recommendation of how the bulk of that GA funds we are hoping to spend. So I hope our council members have had the chance to review it. So this also requires a full board, and the executive committee did endorse this initiative at its meeting on June 4th. So the proposal is that the remainder of the WDC's GA funds support the Hawaii Department of Education through its career pathway modules to benefit the adult ed program. So this initiative, we believe, offers immediate high impact opportunity to serve individuals with economic and educational barriers. It's also aligned with the legislative and workforce priorities, and because of the short turnaround, we want to make sure that there's timely encumbrance of the funds. We do have Principal Helen Sanpei was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, she just texted me and she's having some issues, technical issues. She won't be able to provide some additional input, but hopefully Wanell is here and Winston is here if they have any additional, if you have any questions that I may not be able to respond to because it's a little more technical in nature, hopefully they can step up. But Chair, that's what we have so far. I'll turn it over to you for the board vote.
Okay, any comments or questions regarding the proposal in front of us regarding the appropriation of the GA funds? Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion to approve of the recommendation to use the remainder of the GA funds for the Hawaii Department of Education's Career Pathways modules to benefit the adult education program.
So moved.
Barry, thank you for the motion to move. And may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So I'd like to, at this point, call for a roll call for this. It'll be an individual vote. So Angela, take it away.
Andrew Garrett,
Aye.
Melanie Bruin,
Aye.
Jay Rojas, Betsy. Aye.
Leticia? Yeah, there's missing an I in there.
Wanell Kaneshiro. Della Taroka. Aye. Thomas Chalk,
Aye.
David Rodriguez,
Aye.
Rosella Garfield,
Oh, aye.
Christopher Lumley.
Aye.
Yahalani Kunuko,
Aye.
Leslie Wilkins,
Aye.
Amber O'Connor. Aye.
Aye.
Scott Collins,
Aye.
Connie Mantoga,
Aye.
Louis Scanlon,
Aye.
Gidu Ano Nuevo,
Aye.
Keith DeMello,
Aye.
Rona Tukumoto. Jared Higashi.
Aye.
Shelley Ihori.
Aye.
Mira. Sean Knox.
Aye.
Ken Reed.
Aye.
Harry Miyashiro.
Aye.
Sean Nakamura.
Aye.
Carla Huakawa.
Aye.
Great. Angela, you're doing good the second time. You're getting really good at that.
Practice.
Good practice. Okay.
27 ayes, Chair.
Thank
No
you.
nays.
No nays, okay. Approved. Okay, thank you very much. Motion has been approved. Next item is the presentation on the status of the use of unexpended funds. I heard a little bit about that. For the next item on the agenda, I'd like to call on our executive director to report on the status of the, well, I'm not familiar with this, WIOAPY 2022 unexpended funds.
Thank you. Chair. Oh,
Yep, go ahead. The materials are 70 and pages 70 and 81.
yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair. So the Workforce Development Council has been tasked with the disposition of 1.5 million. So as I shared with you earlier, 3.9 million was what was unexpended funds for PY 2022. 1.5 was given to WDC for the disposition for 1.5 million. So in your packet, there's a very full-on report that reports on the status of each of the 6 projects under the purview of WDC. So let me just highlight a few points that this project are on track, except for one, but for that one project, I'm not at liberty right now to share because there's still some developments that are unfolding. But other than that, I think we have a good traction that we're going to be able to meet the criteria and the deadlines by June 30th, which is around the corner. Chair, back to you.
All right, thank you, Bennett. Are there any questions? Okay, before we continue in today's agenda, I'd like to take a moment to remind ourselves of the real impact of the work that we do. And from time to time, we'll be sharing success stories from our local areas. They are gentle reminders that the policies we shape around this table and on Zoom do affect the lives of the communities across our state. And today we're proud to highlight 2 such stories, one from Maui and one from the Big Island. The one from the Big Island may be one that you may have already seen already, but it still inspires us and reaffirms why this work that we do matter. So go ahead.
In high school, I was often bullied, so I had dropped out in 10th grade. I was homeless. My family was low income. Through a partnership with the American Job Center Hawaii and the Goodwill Industries of Hawaii's Olikahana program, I was able to earn my competency-based diploma and go through workforce training. They had taught me life skills. I didn't know how to write checks, how to find employment, whether it be resumes, and I didn't have much self-confidence.
The American Job Center, through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, uses federal funds for occupational training and skills building. We also use it to pay for tuition and books, and we use it to serve the underemployed and the unemployed. He came in as a work experience student, and from there he wanted to learn everything he could. He offered to volunteer outside of his job.
Today, I have a full-time job with the County of Hawaii's Rapid Response Program, helping others who are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. For me, I enjoy the work I do. It's a joy for when I go out into the public and the community.
You know, I'm so proud of Kevin. He has come a long way from the kid who's being bullied to this young man who's just blossomed.
The American Job Center is actually a one-stop center for job seekers and employers.
Hi, I'm Dexter Corpuz, and my current occupation right now is a high school teacher teaching career technical education in digital design. I think the biggest challenge within this whole process was just the motivation of it all sometimes, because it was during a COVID scenario. So when I enrolled into the program, it was, I think, when COVID struck. But with the programs helping me out in the last couple of years, they helped me, like I said, become accountable and, really felt like a backbone and support to help me striving forward. With COVID and everything going to school online, it made me very kind of challenging to attend. But I think with the support and knowing that I'm getting the support right now and afterwards was definitely beneficial. I would say to definitely enroll in this program. There's so many backbones, so many support in many ways, and not just in just like paying for stuff that may be hard to pay for, but also just monthly checkups or tri-monthly checkups, and through emails, through text, through physical meetings, and just being able to help you build life skills like having a resume, building a portfolio, and just being able to talk about what can I do next to make myself better and not being stagnant. I think what made this program see the success, I've been in this program since 2019, I believe. So the success of it all is having the program, reach out to me and just continuing seeing my growth. So I think I enrolled to the program when I was 20, and then I turned 26 next month. So just seeing, I was just a college student working for my associate's degree, and then within this last couple of years, I obtained my bachelor's. I got my teaching certification, and then now I'm taking professional development classes with a occupational field in being a teacher. So although those were my plans when I first went into the program, it definitely opened my eyes and made me realize like I'd done this because of the support of a lot of people in the program.
That close to wrapping up? Okay, I guess that's it. All right. Nice success stories, and look forward to many more to come. Next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Bennett, popular today.
Sorry. Thank you, Chair. So please refer to pages 83 to 88 in your packet for this report. So my report will cover the following. So we're going to talk about the status of board vacancies. I'm going to talk about the update on the unified plan implementation, an update on the WDC roles and responsibilities, and then the second and third quarter highlights, and then some upcoming events. So before I talk about the board composition, on the slides, you should have, next slide, please. Thank you. So I wanted to note that on June 5th, we held an orientation session at the Entrepreneur Sandbox. There were 10 council members who were present who wanted to learn more about WIOA and WDC. And later on, we had the ceremonial oath taking, which was administered by Representative Andrew Garrett. So that's the picture. Thank you for those who attended. I think we had a great fun. And when we did give them a test afterwards, they all passed with flying colors. Okay, so go ahead, next slide. So here's our analysis on our current vacancies. So according to HRS 202, we need 17 board members out of 41 who will represent the private sector. So far we have 14 seats that are filled, and you can see there how we categorize your sectors. And we still have 3 vacancies that we need to fill. So the next slide, please. So the next slide tells us the criteria on how or who we should recruit. I wanted to make sure that people understand that we do need to recruit from it's very specific on who the private sector representatives should be, must be owners, CEOs, COOs, and must represent business that provide employment opportunities in in-demand sectors and reflect the diversity of the state's economy. Next slide. So we're hoping to recruit from these sectors. When we did an analysis as to who are not represented in our board. So we have construction, although we do have labor represented in construction, but on the private sector side, we used to have, but not anymore, a construction person. Retail, technology, energy, and engineering. Those are the sectors that we're hoping to recruit from. So I'd like to ask the council's help. If you know of anyone, if you're having a great time at WDC and would like to spread the wealth, we'd be happy to, get your the name and have them go through the process. So next slide. So on the labor side, we have 8 representatives from the labor organizations according to HRS, and one of which should be from a community-based Native Hawaiian organization. So currently we have 6 and 1 seat is vacant, although the AFL-CIO has already identified this candidate and the application is in play. So we also have a community-based Native Hawaiian organization, which is Alolike, and Carla Kurukawa is on our board. So we're, again, to summarize, we have 3 openings for the private sector and 1 for labor. Go ahead. Next slide. So here's an update on the Unified Plan implementation. We are excited because on July 9th, we will be holding the Synergy Summit 2. So it will be from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at the Honolulu Community College. I really will be circling back with our council members. According to the Office of Information Practices, this is considered a board meeting because it will have more than, obviously, 2 board members in the room. Also, we may be discussing the plan during our board meeting. So I think it's prudent to have it be treated as a board meeting, which means we will require quorum. So I hope you have it on your calendar and will make a point to be there to attend. And it is, again, July 9th at the Honolulu Community College, and it'll be all morning. The last time we did this, it was quite exciting. We had wonderful attendance from the philanthropic private sector. And we're going to have the pillar teams make presentations on what they have accomplished so far. So I just want to thank the team leaders, many of whom are in this room right now or on Zoom, and because it really shows the collaboration that is happening, and it's very inspiring to see. So next slide. So this is the scope of work of each of the Catalyst teams are trying to accomplish. They're being very diligent. They have been very committed to this cause. And again, we're looking forward to their presentation at the summit on July 9th. So next slide. So many of you have seen this slide, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but it does map out what the timeline, the timing would be. So after the Synergy Summit, we're all hands on deck for the September events. We have the fact that it's Workforce Development Month in September, and we have the Workforce Heroes, and we have the Future of Work conference that's also forthcoming, which is September 24. I will be sending information to you folks after this meeting on this events. Go ahead. Next slide. So moving on, pivoting to the delineation of roles and responsibilities. Since last year, the Workforce Development Division, the Workforce Development Council, and the Administrative Services Office, along with the leadership of our Deputy Director, have been meeting on a regular basis to delineate the roles and responsibilities. And we're hoping to have a memorandum of agreement or understanding that would emanate from this. And so the takeaway for this is that we are pushing the MOA and the completion of this task a little more because there's just a lot of things that are still need to be threshed out. So we're hoping that it will be completed by Q3. But I do want to say that on the fiscal side, I think we're moving along very nicely. And our board and staff are continuing to be trained. In fact, we have a fiscal training that's happening this week with a team from the mainland, and we have about I don't know, 50 people who are coming from all the neighbor islands, all the counties, to be knowledgeable or to increase their knowledge about the fiscal side or fiscal details about WIOA. Go ahead, one more. Okay, so these are some of the highlights for Q2 and well, Q1 and Q2. I did want to just mention the fact that you know, it seems like they've been around forever, but our team with Evan and with Kelly, they just joined us towards the first part or the middle part of Q1. So February, I think, Evan started in January and Kelly started in February. I just wanted to just publicly praise them and share how much they've worked very hard, and they've really, their learning curve has been very steep. And as many of you know who've interacted with them, we're really happy with the team that we have developed. And I just wanted to say kudos and highlight their hard work and the fact that they are doing very well, and our team has been strengthened as a result of their presence.
Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, you can give them a round of applause if need be. Okay, so for Q3, next slide. Oh, by the way, and of course, Angela Chalk has been a very integral part ever since she joined us about almost a month ago. She has been a busybody and has really stepped up also to share in the work. So thank you, Angela, for being here, and we really treasure your presence. Okay, so next slide is on Q3 and what we need to focus on other than the things that were from prior quarters. But I do want to share that we will be going full on organizational planning, taking a look at our committees to make sure that they continue to be relevant, and that we will have a board retreat and planning that we're hoping to do in October. We're also going to do some budget planning for our GA funds, as well as other unexpended funds along with the other team members. We are starting already our future of work planning, and also the Kauai transition. We need to step up as a state board to make sure we shepherd Kauai as its local board. So more of that to come. So for our forthcoming events, next slide. We have a Strata Foundation webinar opportunity that we're working on for July. The National Governors Association Summer Institute is in August. August 13th to 16th. September, as we said, is Workforce Development Month, which also will have the Future of Work Conference and the Workforce Development Heroes. And we're hoping to have the board retreat in October. Are there any questions? If not, Chair, I'll return the floor to you.
Thank you for the report. Are there any questions or comments? Oh, look, Kelly's.
Can I put a plug in for the Kawailoa?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Kelly, go ahead.
So Kawailoa has invited the board out to a site visit and like a learning visit. So Kawailoa is a 8-year Kellogg Foundation grant under the Partners in Development Foundation. And their goal is to end youth incarceration in the state and replace it with the indigenous model of care. So we'll have an opportunity to meet 3 partners out on the Kawailoa site. I think there's 5 total. It's situated next to the youth detention facility. So I think it'll be a really special opportunity. They presented to the youth council. Everyone was really excited. It's a wonderful program. We'd love to have, as many of you folks out there for the visit.
When is that visit?
July 11th, Friday, July 11th from 9:30 to noon.
It's next to Ulamana School.
Yes.
I heard it's really exciting to go and very inspiring. And it's very relevant to what we do here.
All right, thank you for that announcement. Okay, we're moving on to oral reports from the local area directors. Let's see here. Last year, as part of an effort to be more efficient, we restructured our quarterly board meetings and switched relevant stakeholders to submit written reports instead of oral reports. But there is value in having these oral reports. So today, we're going to have the local area directors present the reports. The reports are found on page 90 through 99. And to the presenters, please limit your report to 2 to 3 minutes or less. We've got about half an hour left in our meeting. The list will start with, or the presentation will start from Adele Monero of Kauai, then Harrison Kuranishi from Oahu, followed by Chantel Rowland from Maui, and then followed by the Big Island ED Clinton Mercado. So, why don't you go ahead, Adele?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Adele here from Kauai. I want to report that the performance measures, I don't have a to share. Right now, the performance measures, as is stated in our system, is the exited participants that has been completed, exited, and then has been an increase in our case managers are increasing the number of counts. So the end of Q3 for WIOA adult has doubled to now 16 and continually increasing. As of the dislocated worker program, it has doubled also. It's now 6. I believe it was 2 or 3 at the previous quarter. And then for youth is now 4 and increasingly. It's because of additional participants in our programs that we have currently, which is our Heli Mua program. They're dual enrolled in that, and the Quest program. We're actively now searching for our recruitment for our youth program. As of November of last year, one of our employees has moved to another department, so we're currently recruiting for the WIOA youth program. And as for job fairs that's coming up, it would be October. Didn't set up a date yet, but usually it's middle of the week. So that'll be October. And hopefully same venue at the Kauai Convention Hall. And of course, the challenges for low enrollment that we have. Yeah, so we're slowly increasing the numbers. Now we're welcoming our activated employer eligible training provider, which is the Kauai Community College, has now provided information to provide the courses that they will present for the WIOA funding so that we can have participants, we can financially provide them with some educational needs to our community. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Adele, Harrison? Hello, board. Sorry, board. You're kind of far from the mic. Can you, everyone online, can you hear, Bennett, can you hear Harrison?
Cannot. Do you want to come up?
Yeah, he's moving up here. All right.
Chair, as Harrison's making his way, I did want to just point out that the success story that we featured earlier was Kevin Aki. He's actually on Zoom and works on the WIOA for the county of Kauai. Hawaii.
All right, thank you, Chair. So for the OWDB report, so we underwent a structural change. So our chair changed. We had Jason Chang for the last 7 years. Now we have Christopher Lumley, who was voted in at the last board meeting. At the last board meeting, we also revised the bylaws, which was the first time in 7 years. And we also increased membership from 19 members to 23 members. A little bit about the data. So I don't really want to talk about what's on the paper on my report written, but I wanted to go a little more in detail about our data. As you saw in Hong's and Julie's report, we had 906 participants up until April 30th. But up until Q3 data, we had, and what's really significant is we had a 57.3 increase in the adult program, the number of participants served, 17.58% in the dislocated worker, and the youth program increased by 162% from 51 to 134. But also I wanted to make note for the 5th consecutive year, my service provider in the adult program, they reached goal for employment rate up until the 3rd quarter. Again, this is up until the 3rd quarter employment rate, 4th quarter after exit. And for the first time, my youth program reached the median earnings 5,000 or more. And also for the first time in the last 5 years, my youth program up until Q3 is maintaining the measurable skills gain component at 64.8%. And I know you guys already shared your success stories, but I just got this last night. And one of our participants actually gave praise to one of our staff at the American Job Center. So she actually wrote this letter, and then I can email it to everyone. I want to take over my 2 to 3 minutes, but it was directed towards Mayor Blangiardi and Councilwoman Del Kimoto, and it praises Lisa Pereira, one of our staff at the American Job Center working on the Title I programs. Thank you, Chair. Great. Thanks for the good news. Chair, do you want to share anything else?
Yeah, I just have a couple of points that I want to add to for this from an administrative point. So we still have a couple of MOU IFAs out, most of our partners have signed. We still have to get those all set out to the board. I'm taking point on trying to get that approved by. But because we're about to enter the next round of MOU IFAs, my understanding is that there's a state mechanism that is supposed to take and if partners don't approve their MOU IFAs within a certain period of time. But since in this current round, that state mechanism hasn't kicked in, I'm going to be pushing to try to get a state mechanism put in that would then take effect if state mechanism doesn't come in. Additionally, since there's been questions about the fate of our service provider and our programs come July 1st, we have approved the extension of the service provider contract with our current service provider. The reason I need to mention that is because about a month and a half ago, Maricar from WDD decided that she was going to tell some lies about us. And because we play with open hand at WDD, we told everybody that we were going to extend the contract. And we did, so I just want to say for the record that if something doesn't come up from Harrison or myself, just assume it not to be true.
All right, thank you for those comments and the update, Harrison. Moving to Maui. Bill.
Aloha, can you hear me okay, Chair?
Yes.
Perfect. Since the last WDC board meeting, Maui has had some subcommittee meetings, and I'll just point out some of the highlights. We met with Marshall Norman, he's the program manager with the University of Hawaii Maui campus and Good Jobs Hawaii, and we particularly looked at the CDL need for Maui County and how we can meet that need. We also heard from Kazu Hayashida, he's the manager of workforce planning at HICO, and he was most interested in connecting with our workforce team and how we can collaborate opportunities between HICO and our Maui County Workforce Development Board. Our Quest program, so we also had our program subcommittee meeting, and we are excited to report that in the last quarter, we placed 19 interns, and we're projected to be about 66% of the budget spent by the end of the contract, which is September 15, 2025. Since we last met, we also held our second annual graduating high school seniors hiring fair at the Fairmont Kealani Hotel. The purpose of that was to provide opportunities for those seniors not going off to college, and intentionally provided hiring opportunities with employers who were hiring starting pay $19.69 an hour. That is the ALICE calculation. So that's $39,385 per year. So that's the income necessary to support a single person household in the state of Hawaii. So in attendance, we had 56 employers, 4 community resources, 135 students, ranging from 8 Maui County schools. Thankfully, we had support from state workforce development, DOE, to provide support in transportation, both ground and airfare as needed for Molokai and Lanai. Bennett shared a little bit about the finance part, particularly where I was focused with our sub-recipients is our performance measures. And in doing program monitoring, we reviewed that and identified areas of improvement. So you can see the chart here, the comparison chart. And we identified the necessary tools and resources to meet the expectations or the negotiated measures. One being intentional outreach. So not just going out into the community just to go out into the community, but really who is your target population and how can we provide services then? On the horizon, of course, staff technical assistance. Let's see, we had fiscal monitoring, program reporting, higher net, ETP training. Of course, we'd like to thank Bennett for her role in setting these all up. Some forthcoming events that we provided in this report, but one has already happened. That's the Maui County Careers Expo that was dedicated for our county vacancies, and we have about 700 vacancies here in Maui. The next one, there's an update to item B, the state of Hawaii vacancies. That will be held on July 10th at the state building, and that one is to focus on the state of Hawaii vacancies. And then, as Bennett mentioned, we are looking forward to the fiscal management training this Thursday and Friday, something that our staff definitely needs. So thank you for setting this up. All right, thank you.
Thank you for your report, Chantel, and your efforts and attention to, meeting or exceeding the performance measures. Okay, from the Big Island, we have Clinton Mercado.
Hello, everyone. Just for the record, Kevin Aki is from Hawaii Island, and he continues to rock his job. Proud to have him on board. And just as I was about to ready to speak, he left the office, so he didn't want to hear. But anyway, Hawaii Island, we continue to make good gains. We have a solid board right now. We have, all 19 members. We our subcommittees were full. I mean, there's always room to add more on, but this is the first time in a long time that we had a full board. And we had a successful board meeting and oversight committee meeting earlier in March. So Hawaii Island, when in collaboration with our board members and our partners, we continue to enhance employment opportunities and elevate our local workforce. One of the big gains that we had was to better support job seekers is the increase in training funds for training and for CDL. CDL unfortunately continue to be a barrier or a little bit of a downer because we were struggling to find CDL examiners here on Hawaii Island. So our list of certified CDL people is getting longer, but luckily, thanks to neighbor islands, they've been able to share their examiners with us. So I think we had maybe 2 from Maui come over to support us and help people get their license. So that's awesome. But I heard that that's also causing hardship on their island. So we're hoping in collaboration with DMV to get somebody on board temporary or like an emergency hire. One of the biggest highlights of this first quarter was our job fair. We had over 2,000 people show up at this fair, at the Prince Gil Plaza, and we had close to maybe 50 employers. We were hiring. I mean, we basically promoted and said, advertised to dress to impress. People came out dressed to impress, and they were being interviewed on the spot. They had resume assistants. I heard that some people landed jobs on that day. So it was a huge success. We're looking at doing another one in the Kona side. That one was done in Hilo. And so we're working, it's an early phase right now. Hopefully within the next month or 2, we can do that in the Kona side. Let's see, one of the other cool initiatives that we are doing now as part of the expansion of partnership and outreach is we have a Connect Kako program, which is the county initiative broadband. So, which is a really cool one because that'll give our people the opportunity to share resources at what we do at the American Job Center that will support computer literacy classes across the island. So various locations around the island, the county put in hotspots and broadband so we can better reach out to our community people. So anyway, that's that. Sorry it took too long, but if you have any questions, please let me know. But we're planning on making some good things happen during our PY24 year. Thank you.
Good news, Vince. Great for the job fair.
Thank you.
Next, we have the written reports from our core partners. The reports are in your packet. It's pages 100 to 118. Are there any questions regarding those reports? If not, we'll continue on to the next set of written reports, which are from the various WDC committees. These committee reports are found on pages 119 to 136. They include the following committees: Sector Strategies and Career Pathways Committee, the Special Projects Committee, and the Employer Engagement Committee, and finally, the Military and Veteran Affairs Committee. Thank you to our committee chairs and their committees for their work. Are there any questions on those reports? Please take the time to review them, and welcome to attend those committee meetings as well. Let's see, final announcements and public testimony. At this time, the public is welcome to announce any upcoming events and comment on relevant issues that were not included in today's meeting. Please be advised that in compliance with the Sunshine Law, the committee cannot discuss or act on issues that were not included in this meeting's agenda, but issues raised during this period may be included in a future agenda for the committee's consideration. Okay, are there any public announcements or David?
I do have a message from Director Bukai. I'm gonna hand out. Director Bukai would like to acknowledge the Attorney General, the Administrative Service Officer, WDD, and the Executive Director for their prompt action in amending the program year 22 contracts for unexpended funds with Vector Communications and UH Community Colleges. The swift response ensures that goods and services are delivered in accordance with WIOA grant obligations and to CFR Part 200, the Uniform Federal Guidance for Federal Grant Awards. This swift and collaborative response ensures upholding fiscal and programmatic integrity. The President's proposed budget eliminates funding for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Wagner Pizer, and other workforce programs. It consolidates its workforce development initiatives into block grants to the states titled Make America Skilled Again. And so on the handout is the President's FY 2026 budget proposal as we understand it. And I could read this for people online that don't have the handout, but we foresee a 34% cut to the Employment Training Administration Fund. Making America Skilled Again, MASA consolidates 11 US DOL workforce development programs into block grants to the states. MASA's $3 billion, a reduction from $4.6 billion. And it zeroes out the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, adult. WIO as a dislocated worker, WIO as youth, employment services state grants, dislocated worker grants, strengthening community colleges, workforce opportunity for rural communities, apprenticeship grants, youth build, National Farm Worker Jobs Program, Indian and Native American programs, reentry employment opportunities, workforce data quality initiatives. Grantees are required to spend 10% of funds on registered apprenticeship programs, and it also eliminates Job Corps. The budget rate organizes the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Census Bureau, and the Bureau of Economic Analysis into a single statistical agency at the department. This concludes the report from Director Bukai.
Thank you for that announcement, David. Obviously, this has severe consequences for the work that we do. So, Ben, I'm sure this would be a discussion item for the upcoming NGA
Yes.
conference. So if you could put this on the agenda for our next.
Sure, and we've been in touch with NGA Chair, so we're aware of these things, but again, it's very premature. There's a lot of things that are happening in Congress, and I think at some point when we have some clarity on what the direction is, particularly on what the Senate is going to be doing, then we will certainly put that on the agenda. But thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public announcements?
Yes, sir. Tui Scanlon.
Tui.
Hey folks, Tui Scanlon here. I'm not sure if this news got to you. Recently, the largest data breach in history occurred last week, maybe Thursday or Friday. It's a data set containing 16 billion passwords for everything. And this isn't a rehash of old information that's been leaked in the past. But 16 billion leaked passwords online covers a lot of people. I hope that you take this information and speak about it with your individual organizations. Some of the guidance that I've provided to my organization is that anything with Google, Facebook, or social media, anything that's tied to finances for our individual organization, meaning QuickBooks, meaning bank passwords, it would be very prudent for our people to change all of their personal and enterprise level passwords. The login credentials you don't have to change, but the passwords I've recommended to them to change, just because it's such a wide swath. And again, record-setting data leak, a data set, 16 billion passwords. So please be safe out there. utilize multi-factor authentication if you can. There are password manager apps that hopefully you take a look at in your organizations and determine which ones are right for you. These password managers generate strong and unique passwords. They update them regularly. Just something to say things are scary out there, and be safe. And I'll pop the link into the chat, the article.
Yep. Thank you for that announcement. Leslie Wilkins, you had an announcement?
Yes, I wanted to ask for protocol. I know that Senator Hirono and Senator Schatz are very concerned about zeroing out of the WIOA budget, and this is a pattern throughout that just block granting federal program funding to the states without the capacity funding to run those. So since we have a new advocacy committee that is authorized with protocols, could we ask them to write a letter of testimony on why reauthorizing and funding the WIOA programs is critical to our economic recovery, diversity, etc., and creating a skilled America? Is that the quote? So I think that would possibly give our senators who are actively opposing the bill that's before the Senate some from the ground voices.
Thank you, Leslie. I think
Chair, yeah, Chair, if I may just, and I love the idea, Leslie, and thank you so much, because Leslie, as you know, is an advocate for our workforce. So, but in terms of this being an open and subject to sunshine, we have to put it in the agenda in order for us to be able to discuss it right now. So unfortunately, it's not in the agenda, so we cannot have any discussions on it, Chair. We will put it on the agenda for the next meeting in August, if that is a pleasure of the group. And it is only at that juncture can we vote to have any kind of board action on it. Again, thank you, Leslie, though, for advocating for this.
Banette, I was asking for protocol, so
Yeah.
I have a
Thank you.
happy announcement
Yes.
that MEDB has 147 paid internships across the state, every island, happening this summer, from rising juniors to returning college and grad students home for the summer. So we're really excited to have that part of the pipeline in work-based learning.
Thank you, Leslie.
Congratulations, Les.
Okay, next meetings, upcoming meetings in your board packet. We have the 2025 meeting dates for the quarterly board meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 20th, 9:30 to 11:30. So look forward to the posting of that agenda. Okay, I think we are at adjournment. So I think we're ending the meeting a little bit earlier this time. Sorry, I think the last one ran over. So there being no further business, I'd like to adjourn this meeting now at 11:24. Thank you again for joining us today in person and.
Mahalo.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Next meeting,
If anybody would need some validation, we have parking pads here so we can, oh yeah. Also, if you guys would like to take some snacks with you, grab some coffee to go, please do so. Yeah.